everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Core Studio. Welcome to the show. So today's episode comes to you courtesy of one of my amazing patrons, Eric, who's been supporting this channel as a general tier patron. I truly couldn't do this without the support from amazing patrons like Eric. So again, Eric, thank you so much. And for the personalized deck tech, Eric chose Shadow the Hedgehog, a brand new exciting commander, a 4/2 Hedgehog mercenary with haste for 4 mana in Rakdos. And whenever it or another creature you control with flash or haste dies, draw a card. On top of that, each spell you cast has split second if mana from an artifact was spent to cast it, which again means that as long as it's on the stack, players can't cast spells or activate abilities that aren't mana abilities. So basically, everything is super fast. If we have creatures that are fast, again with flash or haste, then they die, we get to replace them with amazing value. Again, card draw. And well, our spells are just inherently fast in that our opponents aren't going to be able to stop them because split second is an incredibly crazy and broken thing. And all we need to do is utilize artifact mana, essentially, to cast them. And all of a sudden, they're unstoppable. So yeah, this deck can definitely be unstoppable. Can definitely be a ton of fun. We're going to have hasty creatures. We're going to have a lot of value. We're going to have split second. Let's jump into it. So, with our first tactic, let's talk about going fast with some ways to give our entire team haste. Because again, when our entire team haste, it means that every single one of them, well, can provide us card advantage if they happen to get taken out. Maybe even by us. We'll talk about that in a bit. Bitter Union's a great one, though. An enchant for 2 mana in red. Enters the battlefield and may discard a card. If you do, draw 2 cards. By paying 1, you can sacrifice it, and creatures you control gain haste until end of turn. So again, this can sit on the battlefield for when we need it, and then we pop it, and all of a sudden, our entire team has haste. Crashing Drawbridge is another great way to do this as well. 0/4 wall for 2 mana with Defender. Tap, creature you control gain haste until end of turn. So again, even if one of our creatures doesn't inherently have haste, now it will, and all of a sudden, if we happen to, well, get it taken out, we actually get to replace it then too. Goro, Disciple of Ryusai, is a 2/2 Goblin Samurai. We can pay a single red mana to give all of our creatures haste. We can also make 5/5 red Spirit Dragons with flying. Cool. But more importantly, again, easily granting our entire team haste for just a single mana. Hammer of Purpose gives all of our creatures haste permanently on the battlefield, and we can also pay 3 mana in total, tap, sacrifice a land, to make a 3/3 Golem, and that's great. It's great to keep being able to make those. Most importantly, though, again, be able to give our entire team haste for just 3 mana. That's lovely. So we're also running Rising of the Day. Creatures you control have haste. Sweet. Awesome. Legendary creature control get +1/+0. So a nice little pump effect for our legendaries, which is nice. But again, most importantly, the entire team is fast. And finally, Garna the Blood Flame. 3/3 Human Warrior Flash enters the battlefield. Turn your hand. All creature cards in your graveyard that are put there from anywhere this turn. Anywhere, keyword right there. On top of that, other creatures you control have haste. So a great way to, well, recur a lot of creatures that maybe just got taken out or we just took out ourselves. And also give our entire team haste. Speaking of entire team, let's move on to our next tactic and talk about, well, making a lot of tokens. Making a lot of tokens throughout the game. Temple of Vengeance is a great way to just make a bursty amount of tokens right away. Create X 1/1 elemental creature tokens with haste. And each opponent can do that as well, but then for each one who did, we get that many too. So, yeah, we can have an absurd amount of tokens with this. Loyal Apprentice. At the beginning of combat, on your turn, if you control your commander, create a 1/1 color Thopter artifact creature with flying. It gains haste until end of turn. So again, if it does get taken out on this turn, well, we do get to draw a card for that too. So this is just repeat card advantage for us. And maybe we've got some ways to force this, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Daring Piracy. If you have combat on your turn, you get a 1/1 pirate with menace and haste. It exiles via next end step. But again, if it gets taken out in the meantime, well, card advantage. Goblin Assault. Beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token with haste, and goblins attack each turn if able. So yeah, being able to go, all right, extra token, swing. Extra token, swing. Extra token, swing. We've got a lot of ways to generate a lot of tokens and a lot of ways to, well, make even more goblins. The Goblin Rebel Master. Yeah, goblins love to attack. Other goblin creature control attack each combat if able. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you make a 1/1 goblin. When this attacks, it gets +1/+0 until end of turn for each other attacking goblin, so this can hit really hard. Most importantly, though, again, well, even more goblins. Howl Squad Heavy. Start your engines. Other goblins you control have haste. If you give combat on your turn, you make a 1/1 goblin. Attacks each combat if able. And you can tap for red for each goblin you control. So this gives us a ton of mana, but more importantly, again, literally just keeps making more and more and more tokens that are hasty. Lagomos Hand of Hatred. Getting a comment on your turn, you make a 2/1 red elemental creature token with trample and haste, sacrifice to begin next end step. Oh, and by the way, you can tap and search your library card, put it right in your hand, then shuffle. Only if 5 more creatures died this turn, but that's going to happen quite a bit for us. So, yeah, we're going to have a lot of tutoring to go along with all the amazing card advantage from our commander. Legion War Boss, even more goblins. You thought we were done with goblins? We are not. It's got Mentor, beginning of combat. On your turn, you make a 1/1 goblin. It gets haste and attacks this combat if able, so there you go. Again, more swinging. Siege Gang Lieutenant, even more though. It's got Lieutenant, beginning of combat. On your turn, you control your commander. You make 2 1/1 goblins. That get haste all of turn. You also sacrifice goblins to ping any target for 1. Ride the Raging Storm. Not goblins, but still fun. Creatures named Lightning Rager can attack you or planeswalkers you control. Beginning of each player's upkeep, they make a 5/1 red elemental creature token named Lightning Rager. It's got trample, haste, beginning of the end step, sacrifices creature. So basically, hey everyone, everyone's going to be swinging. Everyone's going to be swinging with this, but I get card advantage when mine gets sacrificed because it also had haste. And then finally, Furbog Flautist. And this one is a great way to, well, also let you know that we are playing a lot of threat and effects in this deck because they are amazing with this commander. When this enters the battlefield, you gain control of target creature you don't control until end of turn. You untap, it gets haste and myriad until end of turn. So basically, you steal an opponent's creature, you then swing with it, and you get 2 extra copies of it, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, cool, I get all that value. All of that swingy value, all of that stolen value, and also that creature gaining haste. When it dies, well, I also get card advantage from it dying too, because I'm going to be sacrificing it. So let's move on to our next tactic, Outlet Maul, because, yeah, we're going to be sacrificing things. We're going to be forcing the hand of fate. We are going to be ensuring that, well, those hasty creatures that we have, again, whether it's those glut of tokens that we have, whether it's our creatures that our opponents maybe had and we maybe, borrowed for a little bit, we sacrificed, and then we got some card advantage out of them. Viserys here is a great one. Free sacrifice outlet, sacrifice creature, scry 1. Bloodthorn Vampire at 2 mana, sacrifice a creature, gets +2/+2 until end of turn, so this can hit incredibly hard for us. Bloodbow Connoisseur at 3 mana, sacrifice a creature, get a counter on it. A great way to just build this power up throughout the game. Yeheni Undying Partisan, speaking of power though, whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, you get a counter on this. This can become massive in absolutely no time. And by sacrificing another creature, this game's indestructible until end of turn, so this can be really hard to deal with. Dimir Houseguard. A great tutor for us. If we want to transmute it away, we can. Otherwise, a 2/3 with Fear, we can sacrifice a creature regenerated. So again, a free sacrifice outlet that can be really hard to deal with. Speaking of which, Vulcan Wrath Aristocrat. Flying haste. Keep in mind, this does have haste itself. Sacrifice any creature, it gets indestructible on turn. If it was human, get a counter on it. Cool. Flesh Eater Imp, another win condition for us. 2/2 flying with Infect. Sacrifice a creature, +1/+1 until end of turn. So yeah, sacrifice 8 creatures over time, or just 8 creatures on a turn, and we can take 1 player out with this. Immershroom Predator. 3/3 flyer. When it comes tapped, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard, get a counter on this. Sacrifice another creature, gets indestructible until end of turn, and we tap it away. Sadistic Hypnotist. This can also be a game-ending card for us. Sacrifice any creature. Target player discards 2 cards from their hand. Only at sorcery speed, but still, 2 cards for 1 creature sacrificed. Your opponents won't have hands in absolutely no time. And finally, Thermopod. I love you, Thermopod. 4/3 slug. Sure, you can give it haste, I guess, with snow mana, but who cares? What matters is sacrifice a creature, add red to your mana pool. So yeah, being able to sacrifice our creatures for mana, get so much value out of them. What's not to love about this? Next up, we talked about the relationship with our commander and hasty creatures, and also with threat and effects, granting haste, and also with, threat and effects plus sacrifice outlets being a great way to remove our opponent's creatures and use them against them while also getting card advantage. So let's threaten our opponent's creatures. Claim the First One is a great one for just a single mana. Gain control of a tiny creature, mana value 3 or less. Untap it, it gets haste until end of turn. Again, keywords right there. Haste. All these threat effects will grant haste, and because of that, well, they are our creatures to swing and sacrifice with. Wrangle, 2 mana. Again, just right above that. Instead of it being 3, mana value, it is power 4. Still, small-ish creature, but still a great value for us. Steal it, gets haste. Threaten it, swing. Bloody Betrayal, gain control of a creature till end of turn. Untap it, gets haste till end of turn. Create a blood token. So yeah, basically your general threat to threat effect is essentially like, hey, any creature on the board is yours temporarily. It gets haste, give it back at the end of the turn. We're not going to give it back because we're going to sacrifice it, but also a lot of these have a little extra value for us too. Furnace Rains, again, just basic threat and effect, but also on top of that, it gains when this creature deals combination to a player or battle, create a treasure token. So yeah, treasures are nice. Again, keep in mind with that artifact mana value, and that artifact Well, mana, we get to utilize that for some split-second cards. Harnessed by Force. This one is basically a threatened effect that you can pay extra into it and target multiple targets, so that can be quite nice. Carries Ev's Expertise, basically a threatened effect for a creature or vehicle, and you can actually cast a card, convert mana cost 2 less to your hand without paying its mana cost. So that's nice. Just a free spell for you. Mark of Mutiny, steal a creature gets slightly bigger by getting a counter on it. Cool. Twisted Fealty, steal a creature, and it also gets a Wicked Roll token, again making it slightly bigger, and also when it's put in a graveyard, each opponent loses 1 life. Vengeful Possession, again, steal a creature, and also you can choose to rummage, basically discard a card to draw a card. Involuntary Employment at 4 mana, threaten a creature, and also, cool, get a treasure token to make up for that extra mana that you spent. The Beast Deathless Prince, when you cast it, you basically threaten a creature, which is lovely. On top of this, enters tap with 6 stun counters on it. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to its owner, untap the beast and draw a card. So again, when you're threatening these creatures, when you're swinging, when they get through, you get to untap this and draw cards, which is absolutely lovely. Traitorous Greed. This one is another 4 mana one, but all of a sudden it's a threatened effect that also gives us mana back. We get 2 mana of any one color. And then finally, Mass Mutiny. For each opponent, we get to steal 1 creature. We get to threaten 1 creature, 5 mana, steal 3 things, swing with them, sacrifice them, 3 card draw. What's not to love about that? Next up, now our commander already provides us with an amazing amount of card advantage, but of course we also have other ways to generate card advantage and sacrifice creatures and so much value. Village Right's a great way to do so. A single mana, sacrifice 1 creature, draw 2 cards. Again, that can just be one of our tiny little hasty tokens or a creature that we threatened. A lot of value to be had there. Corrupted Conviction does literally the exact same thing. I mean, literally it's the exact same card. Deadly Dispute. At 2 mana, we can sacrifice an artifact or creature, draw 2 cards, and we make a treasure token as well. Seize the Spoils. Speaking of treasures, discard 1 card, draw 2, make 1 treasure. Big Score. Discard 1 card, draw 2, and make 2 treasures. Pirate's Pillage, exact same thing, but it's sorcery speed as well. And again, keep in mind, like I mentioned before, on top of our, ramp that we'll get to here in a little bit, these artifacts, these treasures can help us with split-second cards, so it can make all of our amazing things really hard to stop. Now, when it comes to removal, we already talked about plenty of removal because, threatened effects are great removal for us because we've got those threatened effects swinging those creatures into danger potentially or just sacrificing them to our outlets. On top of that, though, of course, we've got other removal like Chaos Warp, get rid of basically anything on the board. They shuffle it back into their library. They reveal something off the top. Maybe they get something good, maybe they don't. Burn down the house, 5 damage each creature in Planeswalker, or make 3 1/1 devils that also gain haste until end of turn, and when they die, they ping something for 1, so do keep that in mind. This can be like a draw 3 spell for us. Phyrexian Plague Lord, a sacrifice outlet for us that can also be removal. Sacrificing any creature to give a creature -1/-1 until end of turn, or tap sacrifice this to give something -4/-4 until end of turn. Blood Money, my goodness, this is so much fun. Source for 7 mana, destroy all creatures. For each non-token creature destroyed this way, you create tap treasure token. We can just have a glut of mana after this, and again, a glut of split-second cards. Butcher of Malakir, again, your opponents will have no choice but to have nothing on the board after a certain point. Basically, again, if you've got a sacrifice outlet, you've got a decent amount of creatures, you can sacrifice them, your opponents are forced to sacrifice 2. Because whenever this or another creature control dies, each opponent sacrifices a creature. Basically, repeat edict effects again and again and again. And finally, Mutinous Massacre. Choose odd or even. Destroy each creature's mana value of the chosen quality. Then gain control of all creatures until end of turn. Untap to gain haste until end of turn. Basically, an insurrection / board wipe too at the same time. Keep in mind, again, if you've got a sacrifice outlet, yeah, you can just choose to sacrifice the remaining creatures that you don't want. Well, to go back to the owners. You probably want to keep your own, but yeah, the ones that you don't. Now let's move on to ramp, because again, our artifacts that are tapping for mana can actually, allow us to split-second cast cards. Everflowing Chalice is a great way to do this. An artifact for 2, taps for 1, 4 taps for 2. It's a very flexible mana rock. Arcane Signet costs 2 taps for either of our colors. Charcoal Diamond enters battlefield, taps for a black mana. Fire Diamond is the exact same thing, but taps for a red. Cold Steel Heart, kind of the exact same thing, but it's flexible. Enters battlefield, tap. We can choose a color, and then it taps for that chosen color. Mind Stone, cost 2, taps for 1. Okay, 1 tap sacrifice to draw a card if we need to. Prismatic Lens can help us filter our mana if we need to. If not, it can just tap for a colorless. Rakdos Signet can filter our mana itself to our 2 colors. Curse Mirror is a mana rock that also can be a hasty copy of a creature. Again, keep in mind, hasty. And it can also tap for a red mana when we need it to. And then finally, Skyclave Relic costs 3. It's indestructible, taps for 1 mana of any color. If you kick it though, we get 2 extra token copies of it, then into the battlefield tapped. Finally, though, let's talk about some great lands to highlight. First up, High Market. Taps for a color, so you can tap and sacrifice a creature to gain 1 life. Again, which can just basically be a card value engine for you by sacrificing hasty creatures, whether they're yours or your opponent's. Mines of Moria, a great way to make some even more treasure tokens to, get those split-second cards that you need. Enters battlefield, tap as you control a legendary creature, like your commander, or a couple others that you have. Tap straight red, pay 4 in total, and tap and exile 3 cards from your graveyard, create 2 treasure tokens. And then finally, Song Mad Treachery. Yeah, we've got a threaten effect actually out of our lands too, an MDFC. Basically, gain control of a creature until end turn, untap it, gains haste until end turn, threaten effect, backside is a land when we need it to be. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. Comment below with your thoughts on it. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.